Friends, today we will discuss on the programming part of real-time system. Why programming is important in a real-time system? So, let us discuss what is a program. So, you have studied in previous classes that we use some sort of computing system or a computer in real-time system. So, it may be a general purpose microprocessor based computer which you are using at home. They may be used. Apart from that, sometimes we may not use those computers. Instead, we may use microcontroller. Microcontroller is also a computer on chip. And sometimes we may use DSP. That which computer you are using depends on application. In control applications where a lot of bit operations are required, we go for microcontroller. Data processing are required, we go for microprocessor. Like image processing, where arrays have to be processed, then we go for DSP. So either microprocessor or microcontroller, DSP, some sort of computer have to be used for real-time system. Now the question is, maybe you are using MuP microprocessor or MuC microcontroller or DSP. These are general purpose processors. What do you mean by general purpose processors? They have a circuit capable of doing any function, hell lot of functions. The same microprocessor can act as a temperature controller. I don't want temperature controller, I want it to operate for a pressure control, I can use it for pressure control. And I don't want it to use for pressure control, I want to use only for data processing. Like in office, I may use for microprocessor for data operation. Or any function can be accomplished by microprocessor. How? Circuit is same. Remember, general purpose processor means the same circuit, but it is capable of doing any function which the user needs. That means you cannot change the hardware or the circuit of microprocessor. You have to make it work as your processor, customized processor. How is it possible? By means of programming. That means you have to program microprocessor to serve as your processor. For example, I am having a temperature control plant. I may take a general computer, but I don't want it used for internet. I don't want it used for Excel working. I don't want it to use for PowerPoint. I want to use only for controlling the temperature. So I have to make the same computer for doing only temperature control. So that means I have to make it. That means I have to inform the microprocessor that you have to do this function. That is accomplished through programming. You cannot rig up the circuit or you cannot alter the circuit of the microprocessor because it is common. For your application, you have to program it. So programming means you give a set of instructions so that microprocessor will do your function. That is called programming. Earlier, microprocessor, microcontroller, DSP, all will be knowing some machine codes like their instructions are machine codes like 0A, 1B, 10, etc. Correct. So you have to code or program such that using this machine code. This was the earlier trend. People used to, when they buy the microprocessor, they will get this code sheet. They will see the sheet and what function has to be accomplished. Based on that, I will write a machine code. Because microprocessor knows only machine code. But remember, this machine code is specific only for one microprocessor. If I want to change the microprocessor, use another microprocessor, I have to fully change the program and see its machine code sheet and write the machine code. So people started thinking, why can't we go for a simple thing? So they started using mnemonics. Such a program is called assembly program, assembly language program. It consists of some mnemonics like English words like move, add, etc. But remember, these mnemonics are designed by the microprocessor designer. So when we buy, we get this mnemonic sheet. Still, it is depend only on processor. It is valid only for one processor. If I want to change the processor, I have to change full program or full mnemonics. That is a disadvantage. Now, the thing is that if I write move add, microprocessor is not going to know. Microprocessor only knows this type of language. So there should be someone who converts this mnemonics to machine code. It is done by means of a software called assembler. Then this is also difficult. I told it depends on process. It depends on processor. It varies from processor to processor. People started thinking, why can't we make a common language for all processors? It is called high level language. Like C program, etc. It consists of some general things like for, if, etc. It is common for all the processors. So once you write a program with this, you have a most of the things remain same if I change the processor, because it is machine independent. Such a program is called high level language programming. Still, processor will not know high level language program. It has to be converted to machine code. So a software called compiler has to be used, which converts this high level language to machine code. So this is programming. So you usually write program for two things. One is operating system or system software. Operating system is the software which controls and manages all the activities of your system, like memory management, power management, time management. Especially real-time system, time has to be managed, no? So this is done by means of a higher level software called OS. Usually we can build, your plant designer can build, but we usually don't do that. There are some standard operating system available. You make small changes and customize your operating system to suit your need. But application program, you have to write your own, because you will be knowing what application your plant has to deal with. So application program also required. So these are the two types of programming required. So we'll discuss in detail. So let us go into the programming part of real-time systems. So we have three types of programming. One is sequential, multitasking and real-time. These are the three types of programming we have. The first is sequential. As the name indicates, sequence. Sequence means what? One after the other in terms of time. First, second, third, fourth. At t equal to 1, at t equal to 2, at t equal to 3. This order has to be maintained. Each instruction has to be in correct order. So it is sequential, means one after the other. One action will be taken, completed, then only next action will be started. So here the actions are strictly ordered as a time sequence, one after the other. First, second, third, fourth, etc. And behavior of program, this depends only on effect of individual actions and their order. Very important, order cannot change. So if I want to control a temperature has to be read first, then control it. So order is very, very important. So whether your program behaves properly, that depends on how you write your instruction for action. You have to write correct instruction for your action, and set of instructions should give your action, and you have to put in correct order so that your function is accomplished. And here we don't bother about time taken for each action, because we don't have control over it. I want to do fifth action means it is possible only after first, after second, after third, after fourth, then only fifth will be taken. So if I bother about fifth action has to happen, there is no chance. Sequential. Only after completing the previous four actions, fifth can be taken. So time is not at all important. So here verification. After writing the program, you verify your program, and you can say that your program is proper. One is your particular statement or a set of instructions should define your action. What if you don't write correct instruction for adding, you will not get addition, like that. And second is your program structure should be written such that it is in correct order. It is stated as it produces stated sequence of events. So order is very, very important. And the second type is multitasking system. As the name indicates, multitask. Many tasks, not at same time. It is not possible with one processor. Correct. So it is required to perform, not necessarily disjoint in time. Several actions have to be performed, not one after the other. Several actions may be performed in parallel. Parallel, the correct word is concurrent. So I will discuss what is the difference between parallel and concurrency. So let us discuss that. Parallel versus concurrency. Assume that you are having a system which has to take care of controlling the temperature pressure as well as humidity. Three things have to be controlled. So we have three actions. Action 1, action 2, action 3. Okay. So I can do this way. I make three processors, three CPUs. CPU 1, which takes care of only action 1. It does not bother about action 2. CPU 2 only for action 2. CPU 3 only for action 3. So at same time, at t equal to 1, CPU 1 will be doing action 1, CPU 2 will be doing action 2, CPU 3 will be doing action 3. So at same time, three actions are possible with three processors. This type of system is correct parallelism, and this is called parallel system. So we have three processors to do three actions. So at same time, CPU 1 will do action 1, CPU 2 will be doing action 2, CPU 3 will be doing action 3. So at same time, many tasks can happen. That is called parallelism. But remember a situation, you have only one processor. You have only one processor. But I have to do action 1, action 2, action 3. It's not possible to do all the three actions at same time, but I can do. So if you have only one CPU to do three options, there is three actions, there are two, there is another option. What you can do, at t equal to 1 second, start A1. But remember, CPU action need to be given for A2 also. So without completing A1, at t equal to 2 seconds, stop this A1 for some time. That is called preemption, preempted. Action is not completed. So without completing, since A2 is waiting, after giving reasonable time for A1, stop for some time and give chance for A2. And give 1 second there. And when 3, stop A2 for some time, that means preempted, and start A3. So at t equal to 1 only A1 is happening, at t equal to 2 only A2 is happening, at t equal to 3 only A3 is happening, but within t equal to 3, A1 also happening, A2 also happening, A3 also happening, but not getting completed. This is called multitasking. So multitasking means not like parallelism. Parallelism means because of multiple processor at same time, at t equal to 1 itself, you will be able to get A1 done, A2 done, A3 done. But in concurrency, it's not like that. Different actions will be done parallelly within certain time interval, not at same time. At same time, it's not possible because only one CPU is there. So when you take an interval, all the three functions are happening. You see here, at t equal to 1 second, A1 is started, and before completing A1, it is stopped for some time when t is equal to 2 is reached, so that A2 is given fair chance to start. Then 1 second given. At t equal to 3, A2 is also preempted without completing. Then A3 is given some chance. Then at t equal to 4, again A1 action will be resumed and done for up to 5. At 5, A2 is resumed, and at 6, A3 is resumed, and like this, at same time only one action will be done, but within time interval there will be many functions happening. Here you see, within at t equal to 1 second only A1 is happening, at t equal to 2 only A2 is happening, at t equal to 3 only A3 is happening, but within t equal to 3 seconds, A1 some part is happening, A2 some part is happening, A3 some part is happening, but none of the actions are getting completed. Then again at t equal to 4, the remaining part of the A1 will be. So that means within a certain time interval t is equal to 3 seconds, A1 also happening, a part of it, A2's part, some part is also happening, A3 some part is also happening, but no one is completing the task. So within 3 seconds, all the three are happening, but not at same time, but within this same time, within this time interval, CPU shared between these three actions. This is called multitasking. Okay. So multitasking, here actions is required to perform are not necessarily disjoint in time. That means it is not sequential. Several actions may be performed in concurrent mode. Okay. Now, but remember, sequential means only one after the other is allowed. In concurrent, it's not necessary that all are concurrent. In concurrent, concurrency also allowed, sequentiality is also allowed, because you see there is a system consisting of control of temperature as well as control of pressure. Control of temperature and control of pressure are independent events, no? So reading the temperature and reading pressure can be done in concurrent way, but within the temperature control loop, After reading, temperature has to be controlled. That has to be one after the other. After reading, control has to happen. So temperature control, that action will be sequential only. Pressure control action, that action will also be sequential. But reading of this temperature and reading of pressure can happen in concurrent way. So in concurrent multitasking programming, concurrent also allowed, sequential also allowed. In sequential, only sequential, one after the other. But in multitasking mode, many times sequentiality will be there. Many times concurrency also will be there. For example, while monitoring temperature and pressure can happen concurrently, but after monitoring this temperature, controlling the temperature has to happen step by step. So they may be consisting of number of tasks which are themselves partly sequential. That means control of temperature is sequential, control of pressure is sequential. But to control temperature and pressure, they have to be read. They have to be monitored. That can be concurrent. They may be consisting of number of tasks which are themselves partly sequential, which are executed concurrently. Now, there is no, when concurrent things are happening, one stops and other has to start. So some synchronization has to happen. So this communication between these two concurrent tasks are done through either synchronization signals or shared variables. Shared variable means common variable is put in all the loops. That is called shared variables. And here verification require actions of synchronization also in addition to arguments of sequential programs. Sequential programs, correct instruction should be written to get a task accomplished, and order is also important. Now when there is concurrency, synchronization procedure is also has to be done in multitasking programming, and the communication between them are through shared variables. What is meant by shared variable? Same variable can be used in different actions. That is called shared variable, so that communication happens between them. Because once I update the value of x in one task, if I call x in another task, that update will happen based on the first updation. In the second also it will be updated. So there is a communication between them. So remember, here there will be a lot of sequential events. Okay, but wherever possible concurrency are also allowed. That is called multitasking programming. And the last one is real time. This is multitasking. So here actions it is required to perform are not necessarily disjoint in time. Several actions may be performed in parallel, but it may be consisting of number of tasks which may be partly sequential and executed concurrently whenever possible, and communication between them are through shared variables and synchronization signals. Verification also has a synchronization procedure should be correct for the communication between multitask of a multitasking system. And the last one is real-time programs. Real-time programs, as we discussed, time at which an action is completed is very, very important. In addition to its action not necessarily being disjoint in time, like multitasking, there will be several actions performed in concurrent and parallel way, and there will be sequence of some of its actions. This is very, very important. There will be sequential way also, but remember, in many cases, the sequence of some of its actions is not determined by the designer but by the plan. For example, I will give you an example. Assume that you are having a critical system in which you give highest priority. For example, a big problem happens. A fire is caught. So you don't bother about humidity, pressure, etc. You have to ignore all other actions, and this has to be given utmost priority to avoid the damage. So based on the planned environment, sometimes sequence of some of its actions have to be adjusted too. That means, say there will be multitasking programs, but there will be some sequence of actions. If some critical thing happens, other all have to be stopped and made in sequential. And only after completing this critical action, others will be considered. After removing full fire, then other pressure, humidity will be considered. Like that, there will be sequence of some of its actions is determined not by the designer, but by the environment condition. That is by events occurring in the outside world in real time, and without any reference to internal state of the computer. Usually it is done through interrupt. Such tasks cannot be made to conform to inter-task synchronization rules. So when critical thing is happening, you cannot expect that other can come. So there is no chance of concurrency there when critical things happens. So no need of inter-task synchronization required there. Only that critical thing will be completed. After that only, next sequence only other things will be done. No concurrency there. So sometimes some sequence will be decided based on the environment of the plant. They may be consisting of number of tasks which are themselves partly sequential, which are executed concurrently, but communication between them may not be there sometimes. Should not wait for synchronization signal. Here, the actual time taken by an action is essential factor. In verification, you have to make sure that this particular action has to be completed, because it's real time, has to be completed within the deadline determined by the physical limitation of the system. So this is about real time programming. In a nutshell, what I have to discuss is, in sequential programming, only one action, next action, next action, all the actions will be one after the other. In multitasking, there are many actions which are one after the other, but wherever possible, there will be concurrency also. That means within a time interval, different actions are performed without completing. After completing one, after giving time for one without completing, it is preempted, and the second is given, and within time interval, many are running. And the third real-time program, very important thing is that many of the times, sequential procedure will be done, many of the times concurrent procedure will be done, and many of the times, remember, especially in critical situation, based on the external environment, without seeing what is programmed inside, all other activities will be suspended and one sequence will be followed. And in such cases, there is no intertask communication also. And here, actual time taken by an action is also an essential factor for verification. So while verifying, you have to make sure that each action is performed within the correct deadline of the system, because it's in real time, time at which output is produced is also very, very important. So that's all you have to know.